Hey guys, it's Purple Ferret here. I decided I wanted to do a Fnaf related drawing because I've been in a very big Fnaf mood lately. Um, and I also decided to record it because I haven't posted anything in like 9 months, and that's absurdly long. I am working on something that I'm hopefully crossing my fingers that it's gonna come out on Halloween. That's going to be an animation, but what I'm doing right now is I am currently drawing um some of the FNAF kids, specifically Charlie and Cassidy. I was going to do um all six, like have the the um MCI kids and Charlie, but I realized that I had never drawn Cassidy before. I've drawn the others in certain variations, Charlie more recently than um any of the others, but like I've never once tried to draw what Golden Freddy's spirit looked like aside from the crying child. And considering the fact that I like Golden Duo theory and think Cassidy and the crying child are both Golden Freddy, I feel like maybe I should draw Cassidy. Right now I'm drawing Charlie. That'll be more evident later, but I kind of redesigned her from the way that I usually draw her. Um, just because I've gotten into actually referencing the outfits and stuff from certain eras because I feel like that's the best way to like make characters look like they're from an era. And I specifically have characters that are set in the 80s, so I was all like, hey, I'm already looking at 80s stuff, might as well look at 80s kids stuff and make them look like they actually are from the 80s instead of just kids. And it's not like I didn't reference stuff before, it's just I was a lot less thorough about it. Like, I would look up and look at the vibe and then just go, oh, so kind of just what we have now, but a little different. And I didn't actually like look at the differences that much. Like 80s, they really liked their high waisted stuff, for example. You'll see that whenever you see both their outfits. It was very weird because like even the overalls that I put Cassidy in have like a high waisted look, even though they're overalls. Like they're not really like overalls. They're just they look like overalls is what I'm trying to say. You'll understand what I mean about the high waisted thing later, I think. You might have seen there I drew another head. That was because I was going to add the entire MCI behind Cassidy and have it be like she was skeptical of Charlie and trying to keep them from her. Anyway, I ended up going instead for a kind of hesitant, less like outwardly skeptical vibe. I'm not sure exactly what the context is. It's definitely not Ultimate Custom Night because I feel like Cassidy would have been like, no, instead of just straight up hesitant. Like, since we're getting to the point where I'm drawing outfits, I should explain what design elements I did and why. High waisted, I mentioned earlier. I gave Charlie shorts just because it just kind of felt right to me. Because in the FNAF 6 version of her mini game, she's wearing a sweatshirt, so I wanted to put a sweatshirt on her. So I wasn't sure how to dress her, and I felt like having the offset of sweatshirt and shorts would make her look more visually interesting. In the minigame, you can't see it through the window, but she is wearing pants, but all the kids are wearing pants, so it's kind of just a generic shape, so I felt like I could do whatever I wanted. And speaking of the minigame sprite, her hair is up in like a ponytail thing, it looks like. And that's not a thing I noticed before. I usually just put her hair down, but that's why I gave her green scrunchie, is because the sprite actually has a little ponytail. And you can also see it when she's laying on the ground. It's just really hard to see because the whole scene's black and white and her hair is dark on dark. I should also probably mention that I based her coloring not off of the minigame since it's in black and white mostly, and based it instead off of the graphic novel version of Charlie. For Cassidy, it's pretty much based off of what I've seen other people do with Cassidy, just because that's what I think of when I think of Cassidy, is I visualize kind of what other people have done. But also I wanted to do my own thing because it just feels... I know that Cassidy was described as being a girl with black pigtails, but it feels weird to have her imagery match up with Baby when she's not related to Baby at all. So I wanted to take the pigtails away and instead give her buns, which are similar, but they look more like bear ears, which helps make her look sort of like Fredbear. As for her eye color, I didn't really have one in mind when I started. I just took Fredbear's eye color and was like, yep, that works. Charlie, though, I'm pretty sure has brown eyes, so I gave her brown eyes. You may have noticed that I'm doing something kind of weird with the background. I decided that I wanted to not have like a real background, considering they're ghosts, and having them look as human as they do. Because I didn't put them in grayscale or anything, I figured they needed a little something extra to make them look ghosty. You might also be wondering why we're only, well, less than halfway through the video currently, and I'm already bothering with colors. And that's because I felt like it would be smart to figure out how I wanted things colored so that I had a better idea of what it's supposed to look like after I get done. I also wasn't entirely sure how done I wanted the final product to be. I wanted it to be better than this, but I didn't know how clean I wanted it to be. I didn't know if I was tracing the line art or just cleaning up that line art. That's because I've recently gotten into drawing with my drawing tablet on my laptop, and I've gotten to this point where I just really like the messiness of a digital sketch and have been kind of experimenting with it, where I go super loose and I don't trace it, I just clean up the line art, and I like it. But for this one, I wanted to be a little cleaner because there were a lot of lines that, because I had so many in one area, I didn't know which ones I wanted to keep, and I felt like it'd be easier to figure out which ones I wanted to keep if I just traced it. I was also very non-specific with their hands, so I felt like I needed a little bit more detail in their hands and to actually use a reference instead of just going with vibes. And I think I did much better with the hands on my second go. So I just listened back to like everything that I recorded because I went and took time to eat lunch and came back, and I just realized that I never talked about why I picked overalls for Cassidy. I know it's not a huge deal, but I figured it might help if I explained that I noticed a lot of people put Cassidy in like a dress with that kind of shape on top, and I saw several kids in the 80s attire wearing different kinds of overalls. And so I was like, yeah, I can do that. And it was directly inspired by this one image of a little girl wearing the overalls and her sweatshirt with sleeves rolled up, which is why she's also wearing a sweatshirt underneath. Also, ignore that I blatantly messed up Cassidy's other scrunchie because I fix it later. You don't get to see me fix it later because the last 40 minutes of footage just is completely black. I don't know why. I recorded in 3 sessions to avoid corruption issues and also to give myself some breaks so I could come back with fresh eyes. And luckily, it was only 40 minutes, and I'm pretty sure it was caused by my drawing tablet needs a separate power source, and so it came unplugged when I got something out of my backpack. I don't remember where exactly in the process that took place, but it seems like realistically it could have been in the last 40 minutes. Also, I've noticed as I've been recording and listening back to my voice, there's a random clicking noise that plays sometimes, and like it plays in my ears as I'm recording the thing, so I know it exists. It's like a technical thing during I guess it's just the software that I'm using, but it'll just randomly click and it will record the click. And so I have no idea what's going on. Sorry if that's really annoying. I'm going to try and cut it out when I can. It probably would have been nice if I had added music to this, but I've gotten into a thing where I just don't really want to do music because whenever I've noticed that when I watch a speed paint, if there's music, I get less interested over time, especially if I don't like the song they picked. So I figure there's probably people like me who would also rather just listen to the person yap, because when people talk about the thing, it becomes more personal. I kind of like the format of talking about the art and about just things that are related to the art, because I think it's fun to talk about Fnaf and just have fun with it, because you listening to royalty-free music or Fnaf music over top of this, I feel like would have made for a less interesting video, because like I guarantee there were people like screaming in their heads about things that bothered them when all you have is music. You don't know if I noticed that thing, and I mentioned the scrunchy thing because it was bothering me and I know I fixed it. So a little fun fact, while I was recording in 3 sessions, the first session was actually recorded differently than the other 2, because the first one was recorded with the snipping tool because the game board didn't want to record. Anyway, the problem with using the snipping tool was that it had a problem where the recording bar couldn't be moved and it was over top of the exact spot to adjust the size of my brush, which is a problem considering I need my brush to change size. So basically I decided to stop using the snipping tool, and whenever I brought the first clip into my editing software, I found out that it had the capability of recording now. While it was a good alternative to the snipping tool, I still prefer the game bar, because while this does make it so I can just film a particular part of the window, it does unfortunately make everything around it dark, so I couldn't really see very well the colors I was picking until I put them on the canvas, and I also couldn't see the scroll wheels on the top and bottom of the screen to scroll back and forth during the parts where I'm zoomed in. So several times I have accidentally clicked on the side of the scroll bar and just teleported up or down or side to side just out of nowhere. And sorry if I didn't get all of those moments. I tried to cut them out, and it was annoying for me in person, so I imagine it's really annoying for you to watch. So I just found out what that little beeping noise was that I could hear and couldn't seem to get rid of. It was the visual track. For some reason, the recorded bits have audio, but only one specific noise. And I have no idea what it is because I'm looking at the footage and there's no visual indication of what could be causing this sound. So it could have been something out of window and it sped up so I don't recognize what it is. But I have no idea what the sound is and it's driving me nuts, but luckily I'm able to mute the track that has the video attached, so you probably thought I was crazy this whole time because you were probably sitting there like, I don't hear a noise, and I was apologizing for a noise, and I'm not going to go back and re-record those sections because I have no idea what I'd put there anyway. And it is here that the video comes to a close because, as you can see, it stopped recording. Now here is the final product, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. I really liked the glowing haziness of it. And here's the original sketch. I think I made a lot of improvements on the original. Only thing that I don't like entirely is Cassidy's shoes. I think I did better in the sketch, but what do you think? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!